All right. Testing. 1 2 1 2. What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's your favorite PJ again, the only PJ. I hope you're watching. If not, then I'm still your favorite. But what's going on, geeks and let me not say that. That's somebody else's tagline. But what's going on, people? I know that it's been a while and I don't stay consistent. I'm not consistent as shit, but it is what it is. This is my humble abode, and let's get into this. Somebody else's tagline as well. I don't give a shit. Right now, it's kind of late, and I'm just doing this because I said I would. So, even though that was like 3 weeks ago, let's get into it. So, I want to tell a story real quick. For those of you who don't know, I suffered an accident back in 2012. It was October 2012. I'm not going to get into the details. I've probably mentioned this many times before. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to make like a quick story. So, I went down on a motorcycle back in October 2012. And it was one of the biggest accidents for sure that I've ever sustained injuries in my life. But as part of a shift in my life, some would say, or I would say, maybe that's kind of where everything kind of started going wrong. Or if I'm more positive, I would say that it's definitely a point in my life where things kind of were put into perspective for me. Let's just say that. And in my opinion now, as 8 years going on 9 years later, would show is that it has definitely uncovered a lot of stones. Like, it turned over a lot of stones, and it uncovered a lot of fog that kept me blind to a lot of things. But I want to talk about the fact that during that time, I was really suffering mentally. I had my physical injuries. For those of you who don't know, I became a below knee amputee, and physically, I had my limits, and I was in a wheelchair. My right foot suffered a foot drop, nerve damage. Nerve damage everywhere. But mentally, I was in pieces. And I would like to say that my family is the one that kept me together, and it was never through being supportive or trying to not they were supportive, but it was never in a form of support that was like, oh bendito PJ, oh bendito. No, it was more the little things is what really kind of helped. It still helps to this day. And what are the little things? I'll give you an example. When my brother would see that I would need assistance, and he would come to my to help me. I wouldn't say rescue, but but so he would come to kind of give me a hand. But first, he would either crack a joke, you call me a commando. Come on, commando, get up. You got this. You could do it. Or he would basically tell me like, "Yo, stop being a bitch, son. You got this. Well, you can't lift yourself up. You got two good arms there." So I know it's not what a lot of people would want to hear, or let's just face it, I'm pretty sure everybody expects for people to talk like that, you know? Let's stop living in this world where we hear something like that's like a rough kind of talk and everybody be like, "Oh my god, how could he say that? Come on. Let's stop fooling around here." Everybody knows that jolly gee whiz kind of talk doesn't really, it exists, but not to that capacity where everybody's like, "Oh my god, like he really said that?" Like, yeah, in the real world, people talk rough, and you have to get used to it, which is what I always appreciated in my situation, is that I always had a group of guys that were rough in their language, and it was for the better for me, man. You know, it really motivated me, and it really kept me humbled. You know, kept me in check. Like, yo, man, there's a lot of people out there suffering more than you. All right, now I get it. You've never suffered like this. This is new to us too. But let's not dwell in it. Get your ass up and get it going. You got this. And I gotta say, man, that mentality really, really helped me. You know, and that's one of my main boys, man. You know, my cousin growing up, Oscar, and he really was like the foundation of all that. Like me and my brother, we grew up. You know, we obviously my brother we grew up together. We have our own language with each other. We get what's going through each other's minds, but when it came to going out and stepping outside of my house, my dude was Oscar, man. Like, you know, there was times where he really helped me out, man. He really stuck with it. He stuck with me when I really needed it. When I really needed someone to be there for me, you know, and it was a lot of occasions where I was too proud to let my family know, and you know, he was my dog, man. He was my guy, bro. One of my best friends. For those who don't know, I'll give you an example. Those of you who know, people who know me, you'll know that. I don't know if you know. Man, fuck it. I'm trying to be some kind of mystery or something in this. Plain and simple. If you know, you know. If you don't, this is the first time you're hearing it. Good for you. One night I was in the hospital, and it was a night where my kid's mom couldn't stay with me. My mom couldn't stay, because they were there for days on end, and everybody needed to kind of go back and take a break. And I was awake at this point, but I was so used to having somebody there all the time, every day, that when they were leaving, they were all leaving, and I was gonna have to spend one night alone. And I really felt some type of way. I was scared, but I didn't really want to project that, because even while I'm in the hospital, I got this whole thing where, sorry, hold on, let me fix this real quick. There we go. Even while I was in the hospital, like my whole persona, my pride, I just didn't want to let anybody know that I was afraid to spend one night alone in the hospital. Mind you, I was already awake. I've already kind of, I was just barely, well, just at that point I was already showing better symptoms than I did the day before. So I was on a trajectory of recovering, every day. But I has basically what I'm trying to say. I passed the scary part, and I was still afraid. And Oscar showed up late, like he always did, right after work. And we were, shooting the shit, talking it up. He's telling me how everything's going on out there. He's expressing to me, he's opening up to me about his problems at the moment, and just kind of hearing him out. And I told him I was afraid. I'm sorry. This is the first time I've ever said it, I think, out loud to anybody. But I feel like people need to know how he was, because a lot of us always saw this rough part of him, and sorry. So anyway, my bad, yo. It meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. I don't think I ever got to say thank you, like I really should have. So anyway, I just want to put this out there because he's really missed, and I'm one of the ones that I still have hope. I still have hope. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about, I know I just kind of went in there and just kind of opened up about some real shit without giving some backstory about who Oscar was. But a few years ago, 2 I think years ago now, or 3. It's been a while. Oscar was the person in the news. He went to Barbados with his girlfriend, and he went missing. Don't worry about the background noise. I got my kids in the room. But he went on vacation to Barbados. You alright, bro? He went on vacation, and he went missing. Went on a jet ski. Never came back with his girlfriend. But if you want to look him up, or just look up the story, his name is Oscar Suarez. Suarez. He's from New Jersey. Him and his girlfriend Maggie. They went on vacation to Barbados, and went on a jet ski, and that was the last time anybody saw them. We never found the body. The jet ski was recovered about 12 nautical miles north, I believe. I could be getting all this wrong, so don't quote me on any other details. Just look them up. He's one of my best friends, and yeah. So I just wanted to say that story because I don't think anybody really knows. Like I said, I never really expressed to him how much I appreciated that day that he came into the room. I expressed my level of afraid of spending the night by myself, and without hesitation, he volunteered. And I know, he could have went back home and spent it with his kids and stuff, and it's like he didn't hesitate to stay with me. So I want him to know, Oscar, man, thank you for that day. It really meant a lot. So anyway, what I'm trying to build up here is the fact that I was in a very vulnerable place around my accident, and I believe Man of Steel came out a year later, in 2013, from my accident. So this is what this is really about. I was physically weak. Getting out of the hospital, I was in a wheelchair. Had one leg, barely, because drop foot, and I really couldn't use it. Not that I could hop around anyways, but I couldn't really use my right leg for anything. So I was basically in the hands of whoever was with me and helping me out to take care of myself. So I say all that to say this. When we went to go see Man of Steel, it was me, my brother, my boys. It's a big showing because it's the first Superman movie in a while, and it's with obviously a different actor, but it's like a different take. It looks good. Watching the trailers, like, yo, produced by Christopher Nolan, and it's like, oh, okay, that means a lot because he just came out of two good Batman movies. The third one was with the Bane, so it should be good. And we went to the movie theater. First of all, the experience was a little bit different because of the fact that I am now in a wheelchair, so my seating is limited to a specific amount of seats. I choose the seats, and everybody with me, they chose seats around me. They could have gone higher to sit higher up, enjoy their experience, but they all chose to stick around me. And that was awesome of them too. Thanks a lot, guys. I promise I don't mean to get emotional throughout the whole video, but that's the kind of support that I got, that I had, and that I still have. So getting out of a situation, a life-changing event that big, if you don't have the strong support, I can see how it can break any man down. Especially men like me, that we grow up and we're raised to, like, we're the ones that take care of people. We're the ones that step in the line of fire. We go first. We take the hits for our family, for the people who are vulnerable in our group. We stand up ready to go. That's the kind of men that we are, that I am. You know what I'm saying? So even emotionally, I take a lot of hits just to make sure that you're okay. just to make sure that you don't feel what I felt or I feel. So having that kind of support is awesome. But going back to the movies, so when we first saw the movie, I gotta say I had my qualms about it in the beginning. And it was the fact, like, the whole Lois Lane Clark relationship kind of, I didn't really like it in the beginning. To me, it was, I didn't like the fact that it took Lois one movie to figure out who Clark was, or to figure out who Superman was. But then again, it was like a whole different approach, and I've learned over the years of watching that movie to really appreciate it. Right, you know what I'm saying? So, seeing that movie when I was in a vulnerable state that I was with my friends, my boys, it really, like, the whole aspect of that movie was Clark trying to find out who to be in the world. It was like this sense of this part of Superman that we never really get to explore. We never really hear about. We've always heard about Superman, already ready to go, Boy Scout, don't worry about it. I got this, you can count on me kind of attitude. But we never really got the whole, excuse me, the whole, like, starting from the bottom from Superman. Like, we always knew as a kid he was always had bullies trying to, mess with him and this and that, and they really couldn't do it, but they didn't know that. And so with this one, it was like really struggling to find the parts of humanity that he really thought were valuable. And this movie was him trying to figure out who he should be, or who he wanted to be. Whether he should be a person that'll just sit back and kind of let things happen, like if he doesn't exist, and live with it, or choose to do something about it, even if it means exposing himself. So it was really intriguing seeing Superman like that. And that's the kind of part that I kind of related with that movie. Even though I'm a Batman fan, and through, since I was 4 years old, Batman's been the dude. He's my guy. He's the best hero in DC Comics. But that movie really made me connect with the Superman character on a human level. So then after that, BVS comes out. And, I don't really look at every movie, and compare it with my vulnerability or my physical disabilities. I just, for whatever reason, these Zack Snyder, BVS, Man of Steel, Justice League movies, they really do it for me. Like I've connected with these movies on a whole different level because, like I said, starting Man of Steel, it was right after my accident. It was my first theater to the movie theaters. Excuse me. After my accident, in a wheelchair, can't sit anywhere else but in the wheelchair aisle. So these movies for me always hit me in a different way. They always connect with me. So when BVS came out, I was one of those people that Ben Affleck talks about, where it's like the casting, and you see somebody in the comments saying no. I was that guy because I really couldn't see it. And kudos to Zack Snyder, because the Batman that he's portraying, the whole Dark Knight Returns Batman, the older, more rugged, doesn't really give a freak about the rules Batman, he plays that Batman correct. Like, he applies it very well. He plays him very good. So, but BVS movies also, you have that Superman part. Like, Superman's parts are about him, and I'm talking about the Ultimate Edition, which is the one that the studios didn't touch, right? Because Zack Snyder had to cut it down for the theater, which was very junky. And then the Ultimate Edition is basically the way he wanted to cut it out, like the way he wanted to edit it. So again, you have Superman struggling on a human level. He's trying to figure out who he should be and how is he gonna move forward from now on, doing what he does, but having the critics also hearing every single one of them, because he cares about people seeing him for the good person that he is. And this one was more like a double whammy because you have Batman, Bruce Wayne's character, who's 20 years in Gotham, 20 years of dealing with evil and how people don't value human life. You can see how the 20 years kind of chipped away at his armor bit by bit by bit. And now you were getting the whole rough part of it. You were getting down to the nitty gritty of this Batman who was basically not playing by the rules. He was playing dirty to some level because he saw these people as scum of the earth. He wasn't even looking at them as a point of redemption. And I get everybody's qualms with Batman doesn't see people like that or whatever, blah, blah. But there has been times in the comics where, yes, he does. He struggles. He struggles with trying to keep a balance. He struggles with always doing what's right, only to have to prepare the next day because that person might just go out and do it again. There's that kind of repeat. What is the definition of insanity? You do something over and over again, expecting a different outcome. That's insanity. At some point, Batman can become insane, or his practices are kind of insane. So, and like I said, Zack Snyder's movies always explore the human aspect. It's never been like hardline comic where it's like the good guy never curses, or the good guy never kills, or the good guy never really hurts to a point. They kind of always disable but never really hurt or break bones. So I enjoy the human aspect of these characters, and the fact that he puts them up like these are larger than life characters. He puts them up like they're some kind of god, and that's way different from what people are used to with the Marvel movies, where it's like they're just some wackadoo kind of character where it's like they can move, they can shoot lightning, or they put on a suit and they can fly around, they can catch a tank. Or Captain America. He's got these strong like features and he can do these amazing acrobatic moves with his shield. But at the end of the day, they're like soldiers. They're like, they're kind of seen as those guys. Where the DC films, they're kind of like, they're looked at like, wow, these are like gods amongst men. And I enjoy that. I kind of like the whole vibe, of these beings, or in the case of Batman, people that are able to move around and do these abilities and do these things that don't seem like regular human stuff, they get put on a whole different category. Like, whoa. So, talk about the Zack Snyder Justice League. If you're not, if you haven't watched it, you don't want spoilers. This is your chance. If you don't really care about spoilers, you're gonna watch it anyways, or you're not gonna watch it at all. You could keep watching. It don't matter. But just know, this movie, man, for me, I'm gonna geek out right now. So, Zack Snyder Justice League, amazing, amazing movie. Totally different tone, totally different story. Even though a lot of the shots that were in the Justice League in 2017 were in this one, the color toning, the way it was kind of directed, the lines that were said rather than some quirky ones that they picked for the 2017 version, all of that, all of that's different. It's amazing how a lot of the same shots can result in an entirely different movie when directed differently. Different lines were said. Right away, I gotta say, Batman from Justice League from 2017, that was not Batman. That was Joss Whedon trying to make Batman into Tony Stark. It doesn't work. This Batman, funny, yeah, because Batman can be funny, but Batman's funny is that the what's it called? What's the way to say? Is at your cost, right? Like, what I mean by that, he's gonna say something sarcastic about you. That's funny because of the way that's directed towards you. Like, it's never at him. He doesn't stop and throw a punchline. He just says something sarcastic, and you're watching. And it's like you start giggling because it's like, oh shit, I get it. I get why he said that. That's kind of, he's, I don't know. Batman is one of the guys, bro. Like, he shoots the shits, but he's like, don't, no, you're gonna laugh at me. We're gonna laugh at your expense, not mine, because I'm the smartest motherfucker in the world. I'm this and that. I'm Batman. So, totally different Batman. Much better Batman. Serious, like it should be. Batman does the planning. That Batman, he's not looking to be uncomfortable. He's not making himself uncomfortable to make you comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And this one, you can kind of see where it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, that's how it is. You don't like it? Too bad. What you gonna do about it? But man, when you see this movie, you can tell we were robbed back in 2017. We were completely robbed, bro. They robbed us. They mugged us and they took this movie from us. And it's sad because this movie was shot. This was already this movie was already shot. There was no scenes that were added on that were older, or I mean not older, that were new, that were just shot today during the middle of like the whole movie. Towards the end, for a different scene, they did reshoot some shots, but that was the part that is not technically attached to the movie. It's like the last part of the movie. That whole nightmare scene, that was brand new. And that was mostly because Zack Snyder said that if this would be the last movie from his, universe, that it would have been a shame not to have Jared Leto, Joker, and Batfleck talk. and that's why he filmed the nightmare scene. You know, a lot of theories are out there that it's because they kind of knew that this movie was gonna do very very well, and it's continuing to do very very well on HBO Max. Like as far as rewatchability and replay and all that stuff. So, you know, they're saying like, oh, he knew, or they kind of knew where this was gonna go. They're gonna green light them for the part 2 and 3. Again, these are just still kind of rumors out there. There's a lot of people that have kind of said it, that you're just waiting for the Suicide Squad new movie come out, and then they're gonna start announcing stuff after it. But but yeah, this movie, guys, I'm telling you, you really, oh, what the hell happened? I don't know, something's wrong with the camera, right? There we go. Whoa, that was weird. I wonder if it's because of the lighting. Anyway, so this movie's 4 hours long, and when I tell you that you barely feel the 4 hours go by, I really mean it. Unless you're really already a kind of pain in the ass person that you hear 4 hours and automatically your body starts to shift and hurt and ache and oh my god, I gotta use the bathroom and oh, then yeah, you're gonna feel it because that's the kind of person you are. But if you're really invested in it, like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna see how good this movie really is, then you're gonna really feel like, oh shit, this movie flew. You know, like as far as the time, it doesn't fly. Obviously, 4 hours, but for you to sit there when you're invested in the scenes, and they always, the way it was put on to be a movie, like within chapters, was also a genius move because they always give you just enough to build up to a point, and it's like, oh, you know, they hit the climax of that particular chapter, and it kind of dives down for you to where it, like chapter 2 and this and that, and it's like it keeps you on pace. Like, okay, if you want to pause it, the intermissions, because you know it's chapter 2 intermission, you pause it, you go to the bathroom, you come back, and then it's like a whole, that next part, it's like a nice little build up with the resolution, or something gets resolved, my bad, and then it's like another intermission, but it's like it's done so well, you don't feel it. You don't feel it. I watched it with my kids, and their attention span is very short, and even they watched the movie. You know, they were able to sit through 4 hours. It was kind of difficult because they're kids. So by like chapter 3, we had to pause it so you could use the bathroom, go get some juice. But as far as that, that's not bad. That's not that bad. But this movie just knocked it out of the park. So then when I'm watching this movie, you know, and going back to my whole Man of Steel story, you know, a story about my accident and the place that I was at, vulnerable in my head. This movie props these characters up with such respect that they should have. You got the whole Aquaman. You know, at this movie, when this movie was filmed, he was basically, it set up his story where he was not at home. He was kind of running around the world saving people from, you know, from ocean accidents and stuff like that. And he wasn't staying in one place twice. Like, he was kind of on the go. He was not going home. He didn't know anything about his dad or whatever. So he was kind of staying away from home. You know, he was doing his own journey like Superman was in Man of Steel. And then you have the Barry Allen story where he's trying to pick up a whole bunch of jobs so he can go to school to become a CSI. And I gotta say real quick, Flash's character, like the Flash character in this movie, it means something to be the Flash in this movie. In the original, in well, not the original, in the 2017 Joss Whedon movie, he was just basically the quick, the super fast character, the super fast mutant of the group, where he was kind of like quippy jokes and kind of embarrassing himself, and just very cartoonish. But his point in the Justice League was really, it kind of sucked because he wasn't doing anything. He was running through bugs and stuff. Like he was smashing the bugs or the parademons, like which they call bugs, and getting the ooze and green stuff all over them and saying like, yeah, and they're like, oh, ew, ew, yeah, that's. In this one, his powers mean a lot. His powers, the kinetic energy that he creates, which has always been a part of the comics, like Flash's speed is not just his power. It's like everything attached to his speed. The energy he makes when he's running, a certain frequency can break the glass and yada yada yada, all that shit. At a certain point he can run so fast he can turn back time, or he can go back in time. Like, these are important parts of his powers that in the last movie they kind of just threw out. They threw it away. Basically, it was like, you run super fast and be funny. It's like, whatever. In this one, he really had a pivotal part. He really mattered. His powers came to the point where it's like, we need this to happen and we need this to do it. And Flash was, I can provide such this and that. Just tell me where and how and when. And boom. That's it. Wonder Woman and the Joss Whedon one was kind of iffy. The Themyscirans, like her people, the Amazonians, they were more badass in this one than they were in the other one. Like I would feel offended. Like, I'm pretty sure they felt offended when when the 2017 came out, but I would still get mad right now and be like, this is what we had. Look how great it was. Like, all those performances of those strong female characters, like, dude, Amazonians are beast. And that's how it should be. They were done a disservice. And I'm glad that this movie came out because it showed everybody's talent, everybody's acting abilities, everybody's badassery was on that film. Wonder Woman, when she fought the Steppenwolf character in 2017, he kind of like laughed at her. He chuckled like, "Oh, okay, you're a little bit more powerful than your sisters, but I'ma just whatever," and boom, boom, and fight. This one, however, they show you Steppenwolf is powerful. When he fought the Amazonians, they're not regular people. They do have some more abilities as far as strength, agility, combat. That's a given. But this movie, they got more respect because they're facing a more difficult foe. He's not having a cakewalk with them, but he kind of just like whatever. He does shrug them a little bit, but it's not as easy as it was in the last one. But when he gets done with them, he meets Wonder Woman. There's a scene in the movie, right? It does it for me because it's like, that's who Wonder Woman is. Yeah, when she fights the gang members or the terrorists, and they're shooting at her, and she's kind of like dodging all the bullets. Yeah, that's cool. But for me, what does it for me is when she encounters Steppenwolf for the first time, and she takes out Parademon, stabs it across from Steppenwolf, and he stops. He's looking at her, and he's like, "Oh, Amazon." He's like, "Oh, a little stronger than your sisters." And the music starts coming out. You stay close up to Wonder Woman's face, kind of like Because Wonder Woman, at the end of the day, she's a warrior. She likes to fight. The best scene of Wonder Woman for me was when she was in Batman vs Superman, and Doomsday clocks her, and she falls down to the ground. But when she gets up, she kind of smirks at him and gets back up to fight. That is Wonder Woman in a nutshell. She's a woman warrior, or she's a female warrior that at the end of the day, you throw down with her, she likes a good fight. That's it. That's Wonder Woman. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it is like she has a big ego. She thinks she's the best fighter because she is the best fighter in her island, right? At least in the comic sense. But in this one, when she's looking at Steppenwolf, and Steppenwolf mentions how she's an Amazonian, a little stronger, a little, not like her sisters, and he kind of just looks at her. His axe is on the other side, like it's a little bit further from him, but he looks at her, and his side eye goes to his axe, and it goes to her, and then it goes to his axe, and then it's like that little hesitation from Steppenwolf. Nigga, that's the best. That put it in perspective to me about how badass Wonder Woman is and how she's supposed to be looked at. It's like, you can't just go in willy-nilly and fight her, because you will get your ass handed to you. And at that moment, Steppenwolf looked and he acknowledged, like, I got you. You're not just like your sisters. I gotta fight you different. I gotta be careful with you. That's all we want as fans. We want our characters that we grew up with to be given respect. That same level of respect that we watched them growing up in cartoons and the Justice League cartoons and the comic books. Like, Wonder Woman is badass. You know what I'm saying? Give her that title. Let her be badass. And what Joss Whedon was trying to do was trying to make everything goofy. No, man, this is not a colorful palette like Marvel movies, like a lot of fans for Marvel have problems with the movies too, because a lot of them are just goofy, when a lot of their characters were not meant to be kind of tossed around like that. Like, yeah, look at this silly willy-nilly character or whatever. Like, I think, in my opinion, the character that has been given the most respect and is kind of closer to the comics is Captain America. And that's because, Captain America was like jolly gee whiz, like don't curse and stuff like that. He was the American way. At least he was portrayed as the American way, the justice guy. But that's it. The other ones with Tony Stark always trying to make a quippy ass joke. The Spider-Man now, to me, I don't know what was wrong with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but what do I know? But yeah, so like I said, Flash was given credence, like the acknowledgement towards his powers was given respect. Arthur Curry, Aquaman, like his abilities, his storyline was also given some kind of respect. The background that they gave. Wonder Woman was given the respect she deserves. Cyborg, man, the fact that they took Cyborg's story out of the 2017 one, I would have been mad too if I was him. You just took the best acting parts, my best acting parts of that movie. You took it all out. My struggle, the realization of who he was when he became Cyborg, struggling from not having his dad in his life when he was a regular person, to constantly having his dad breathing on him after he became Cyborg, and how his resentment towards the world can come from that, because at the end of the day, you as a parent, you are your child's world. You are their biggest fan. You are their biggest supporter. You are the one that guides, or is supposed to help guide him. And it's set up how he was always a good kid, trying to do what's right for others. Before he had his powers, when he helped his friend in school, granted he hacked into the computer school, but his mom quickly turned it around against the teacher or the school, and it's like, I could see that. As a parent, it's like, you're gonna protect your kid. So it's like she flipped the tables on the school. And then when he got the powers, and he went, and you could see the scene of the bull and the bear, which is like reference to the stock market, and he goes to the Fed, which is basically made up money. Let's just call it what it is. They just make up money in the Fed, the Federal Reserve. And you can see this mother working hard job, single mother, working a hard job, waitress, getting by, not much money, and it's a powerful scene. It's a powerful scene. And the fact that lady, she tweeted out after the movie came out, like, oh, I filmed for the Zack Snyder's Justice League, but my part was cut out. Somebody please tell me if it's in there now. She's like, she's an Asian lady, so basically she's a minority casting, but in the movie she's an Asian single mother working 9 to 9 job, because it's like a waitress job all day, every day, trying to feed her kids, trying to keep them a roof over their heads. And you could see again Cyborg, or Victor, stepping in to help someone in need, someone that in his mind, or in his, like, I guess in his current situation, he is more privileged than she is. So you see that, and then you see him like with the whole, that's like when he has the whole fuck the world attitude, like whatever. And then you see him kind of progress to, I'm a part of this world. I'm now considered a guardian of this world. I need to stand, and do well for the people. Like, I'm not, like, I'm a part of this group now. I'm not alone. Like, people watch my back, and I watch their back. So yeah, man, I gotta tell you, Zack Snyder Justice League, you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. It's an amazing movie. It's top of the line. I can't believe we finally got it. I know when it started, the whole release of Snyder Cut back in 2018, it started as a rumor, and then little by little, a lot of people kind of kept on. They held on to the hashtag, and it kept going until Zack Snyder decided, you know what? I'm just gonna mention a few key words. And a lot of people were like, what? And he put a picture up, and it's like, does it exist? Is that it? And little by little, AT&T bought WB, and boom, AT&T spoke to the people and said, we've heard you, and we acknowledge what you want. Merry Christmas. Boom. Even though March 2021, Merry Christmas. It's an amazing feeling. You gotta give it up to these studios. You gotta give it up to them. You gotta make sure you support them, because when they make moves like this whole Zack Snyder release, the Snyder Cut, they didn't really make all the money that they put into it. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. I should say it. They had to spend more money to finish the kind of the CGs and stuff like that, all the computer graphics, and finish it and make it look as good as it did, and change up certain things, and the color coordination, the black suit, Superman, which, by the way, hands down the most awesome Superman so far. So his progression through his 3 movies, you kind of see him now come back, and it's like, He values life, but he also know what his job is, like what he stands for. And he stands for the people of Earth. He stands for always doing the right thing. He stands for us, and he'll do things whether we criticize him or not. That doesn't faze him anymore. He's about doing what's right for the planet, for the people. So, but yeah, so they spent more money on fixing all that stuff and putting it all together. Because, like I said, it was already shot. But the VFX and all that stuff, they had to pump money by getting people to come back to finish it, to put all the level of detail that they put into it. They spent money on it that they technically haven't gotten back, but they put money in it to give it to us. It's almost like the whole Sonic movie fiasco, where the first Sonic trailer came on. It was that ugly looking people teeth hedgehog looking monstrosity. But they heard all the replies and all the reactions from everybody in the world, and they were like, alright, we heard you, we're taking it back, we're gonna fix this, thank you for your cooperation and your input. That's it. You didn't have the guy, like the director who's a big fan. I don't know how he let that go to the big screen and be like, let's show this to the people. He probably didn't like it and they were pushing it, like, no, keep it. So he probably was happy that the fans reacted the way they did. And then the studio came to him and was like, fix it. And he's like, gladly. But that hasn't been said. That has not been pushed out. And I don't think it would be, because they did so well in that movie. The director's happy with the studio, so I don't even think he'll ever kind of leak that kind of information, because that's just gonna put some kind of tension between them, the relationship. Because now they're doing part 2, so definitely he's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna keep it tight to the chest, and maybe later on down the road, probably we'll know if that's what they actually did or not. But at the end of the day, man, they look like a studio that listened to the people, and they fixed the product and gave it back, and the people appreciated it, and they all went to support it in the movie theater. So going forward, I hope that comic book movies, especially DC comic book movies, end up in this kind of direction where they don't worry about the time. They just put out good product, whether it be 3 hours long or 3.5 hours long. I'm honestly, like I said, the 4 hour long movie works in a streaming service, and now that's provided because who's going to the theaters nowadays? Yeah, I'm pretty sure if things open back up, movie theaters are gonna be, well, not flooded, because it depends on where you go. What if they keep restrictions to a certain amount of people? But I see people going back just for the nostalgic feeling of being in a movie theater, but I don't know. I don't see it. So I think streaming is going to be the big way going forward, and putting out 4 hour movie on the streaming service. If you do it just like the way they did for the Zack Snyder Justice League, I could see that happening more and more often. So get ready. Marvel definitely sees the success. I'm pretty sure Disney is watching. They're having their issues. If you still support Disney, that's good for you. But I don't see why. Why give them my support when they obviously don't care about anybody else's opinions, or they're trying to ruin somebody's career because they think differently. So, on that note, I'm gonna leave it at that. Again, I'm sorry for the slow start on this video, but I just wanted to build up my relationship with these movies, with the Man of Steel, BVS, and now Justice League, and then Zack Snyder's Justice League. obviously the whole Aquaman and Wonder Woman movies, they do well. They're all right, but I'm just specifically referring to my relationship with the Zack Snyder movies of the DC comics, DC heroes. So, you know, I know I got emotional in the beginning. I apologize for that, but at the same time, I don't apologize because it's my channel and I can do whatever the fuck I want. But definitely, again, Oscar, I know you're out there somewhere, buddy. And like I said, you want to look more into that story, guys, you can look him up. Oscar Suarez, uh, trip to Barbados, with his girlfriend Maggie DeVille, I believe, and yeah, you can find the GoFundMe for his page, and I'll try to put a link in the description about it. But you should be able to find it if you look him up. But yeah, thank you for watching and my review of this Zack Snyder's Justice League. There's so much more that I can go into, but I don't want to make this video longer than it should. To be honest, I probably should have just jumped right into it, but it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be my style if I didn't pay homage to my relationship to these movies and how they started and where I was physically and mentally. Because like I said, I'm a man, and I grew up with certain values, and this was when I was in a point where I felt useless. Going from I was a big dude in the gym at the time, and when I couldn't do certain things, it really affected me mentally, and it was always a drag on my spirit. So these movies, I really connected with them, like emotionally and mentally. Like they were very uplifting. As much as I had fun watching them, I enjoyed the struggle of them, because they are like gods to men. But watching Superman's dilemma of being in a human world and being non-human and being superhuman, and having to think every single step he makes, it was just refreshing. Because there was one part in a Justice League episode where Lobo comes. Is it Lobo? No, it's not Lobo. Oh yeah, it is Lobo. I don't know if it's Lobo or Darkseid, but they make an appearance, and Superman makes a comment where he's like, "You have no idea how liberating this is right now, to be able to let loose and just go all the way that I can, because you can handle it, can't you, big guy?" I believe that's Lobo that he's talking to. The iteration of Lobo in the Justice League animated Justice League episode where he goes to Lois Lane and he's like, "Come on, plant it right here, sugar. Plant it right here." And it's awesome. So anyway, I don't wanna take any more of your time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, and thank you for stopping by and having a listen. Thank you all. Have a good day. Have a good night. Whenever you're watching this, stay positive. You got this, man. Over and out. Thank you.